Yes, it is. I turned it on when I got here.
The hour of 7 o'clock having arrived, I call the July 9th, 2025 meeting of the Columbia Borough Historic Architectural Review Board to order. Please, Paula, can you please do a roll call?
Chairperson Lutz,
Here. So, without Paula.
Vice Chairperson Peter,
Here.
Member Barley, Member Brandt,
Here.
Member Kerrigan,
Here.
Member Mountain.
A quorum having been established, please rise for a moment of silence while I push the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone had a opportunity to review the minutes of the May 14th our board meeting?
Yes.
Are there any changes to the minutes? Any discussion of the minutes? Seeing none, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Peter moves.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving down to new business, consider a motion to recommend the borough a COA for 440 Chestnut Street. Go over that one.
440 Chestnut is looking to tear down a deteriorating retaining wall and replace it with mulch and flowers in the front yard, and then also replacing rotted columns and baseboards on the front porch.
So it looks from the pictures here that the retaining wall is actually gone already. And the work has been done on the photos.
Correct. I stopped while the work was being done and informed them they had to submit an application and go before Hart.
It's a shame we lost that retaining wall. You know, we've done this before. The borough really has to, frankly, do a better job at preventing things from moving forward without permit.
I assume we don't have anybody representing this here.
Yeah, you represent this?
Yeah.
Oh,
This project. Okay.
Are you the contractor or the property owner?
Can you come up to the microphone, please? And state your name.
Larry May.
No, Larry, good to see you. So the wall was already removed and you began work on the porch and we're what, about halfway through that?
Halfway through what?
The porch work.
No, it's just, he tore it down. He started tearing some of the pillars down and braced up the porch.
So
The
what
walls
needs to-
down,
The walls down. What needs to be completed on the porch?
the columns and the top part. That all needs to be redone.
Okay.
So I see a sketch here of column detail.
See how it is?
Yeah. So is everything intended to
It's
be
right.
replaced to match what was there?
I said, that's him, the guy I'm getting to do it. I said to him, I just wanted to it was rotten. I wanted it taken down
Sure.
and just matched everybody else's porch. As cheap as possible.
we have any photos of what every other porch looks like, or?
No. They were all just square.
So are you gonna rebuild the top portion with that ornate molding? Is that what we're looking to do?
Well, see, if you pull that down a little bit, no. Well, pull it up. I mean, see how it's rotten up there?
Yeah.
That's, wanted to replace that and just square it off.
Yeah, so that's illustrated somewhat in this sketch,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. Yeah, because nobody else's porch looks like that. You know, it's
That's what
all
makes
the
it
other
different.
porches.
Yeah, that's what makes
And the
it
ones across the
special.
street are all squared off. But I mean, you should see how that was done. That was, I mean, that was not to the house,
You have any idea when that was?
original, no.
Yep.
I don't have any idea
Right.
when they did that.
But you don't think it was original to the?
No, no, it couldn't have been. Not the puttied up, messed up way they did it.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Do you want to keep that, I don't know what it's called, like the dental work that's up
Dentals,
there?
yeah,
Yeah, those.
dentals, yeah,
Yeah.
dental work.
So
dental.
you want to keep there, basically you're talking about going where, just all, yeah, going from below that dental work and that trim and down being squared off.
Yeah, if I could say something.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
actually go to one point.
Yeah, that's fine.
The dental block you see right there, right above it is box gutter. And that's intact and that's fine. So on the inside of the porch, if you see below the dental block, it actually was raised up a little bit. So I tore all that off because it was falling apart. And I noticed there's a top plate that was up there. And the beveled columns that were side by side were totally rotted. They were hollow. There was nothing in them
Okay,
at all.
that's what you
So what I was going to do, and I suggested, was to basically on the drawing, I put that 6x6 in there, jack it up, and I'm gonna put a top plate, a nice top plate up there with the 6x6 intact, and then wrap it with approximately like a 10-inch square with the base on the bottom, base on the
Right.
top. It would look clean, it'll look nice. The dental block, I'm not gonna touch. I don't have to.
Okay.
If I start messing with that too much anyway, it's gonna interfere with the box cutter. So,
So go back. Yeah. That rotted section right there, what's going on there?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about on the other side. That actually is above the dental block that you see outside.
Okay.
But right up in here where it's rotted.
Yeah.
There used to be a plate, a top plate. I don't know what, I can't even tell you what it was, but I'm gonna cut sections out because I have it all shored up and put a pressure treated 2x6 and fasten it for a new plate for the whole porch. Put the 6x6 underneath there, which is gonna be structurally sound. I don't know how the porch was able to stay the way it was for so long because the bevel columns that were in there were just one by material and they were hollow inside.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was approximately 7 inches to the bottom, to like 4 inches on the top. And it,
Completely hollow. There was no structural posts.
yeah, there's actually remaining ones in there that I didn't, because we were shut down. So there's still some that were remaining that you could stop by and see. I mean, I don't know. It's actually, I don't know, it's only like a 5-foot porch. I framed for years. I'm looking at this thing like, wow, you know? what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think it's the weight distribution. Both sides of the porch only go out about 5 feet. There's no weight on top because it's tongue and groove, boards on the rafters, and then shingles. That's it. And that's all the weight that you have. Now, the outside where it's rolled, that's probably more like 8, 9 feet. So that actually has nothing underneath it. So actually, this here and then the one on the other side holds that whole window. That's kind of one of the first things that happened is that seat.
So what happens to the curve?
What happened to it?
No, what happens in the end result? You
Oh,
want to
no,
square
I'm
it
not
off or you're
touching-
going to keep it?
Yeah, I'm not touching that because I'll
Okay.
tell you why. The outside, that inside and outside has a sheet metal that's around it. So my finished work, I wanted to get everything stable and solid. That's number one. And then my finished work, which I'm trim covered by J2, so I already know I'm gonna wrap everything real nice with one by and everything. When I get to that, honestly, I have to make it look nice. So one option I have, I'd rather leave that alone and not pull that metal off. I may get AZAC, which is a composite, which with that span, I'd be able to flex it. And that way, when I end the one by on one side and the one by on the other side, I take that 3/4 inch composite and just continue. It would look really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
And the parts where they come down like this, you're proposing to get rid of those?
Yes.
And is that just because of money?
No, it's actually, everything was hollow up there. And since I'm tearing everything down, I just took it upon myself. I thought it would look, I didn't know anything about anything. I thought it would look nice because I did porches and I thought, it's the only thing that looks like that around there. They're all busted up. They look, I thought I squared it up and then trimmed the top columns, top and bottom. That would look really nice.
Better.
And you'll be keeping the brick piers? The same brick piers that are
Oh,
there?
yeah,
Okay.
they're fine. They're actually in good shape.
They're solid. I didn't want them changed anyway. We were going to keep those.
I should tend to agree. I don't think that is.
The arch of the
Yeah,
span.
I just think it's odd.
No,
No,
it's odd looking on the curve.
if this
Corner.
side matches the other side of the house, none of that's original. Because it had that, see where the window is up top there? It's like a alcove that goes the whole way down on the neighbor's house. And I'm sure that's how that was on that. That's why I said that porch isn't original to the house.
Your neighbor's house doesn't have a porch, does it?
No, it just has a rinky-dink little,
Yeah.
covering over top of the front door.
As far as a recommendation to Borough Council, had the wall not been removed, our recommendation would have been to salvage the stone wall. Otherwise, the structural work
I would have liked to have
needs to be
redone the
done.
wall, but my wife was just diagnosed with PSP. It's super aggressive nuclear palsy. I had to retire early on a fixed income. And the prices that I got to redo that wall, there's no way I can afford it. I mean, there's just no way. That's why we tore it down.
Mhm.
And besides that, when the wall was up, I was constantly picking garbage up from behind the wall. People would go down to Turkey Hill, get food, come back upset on the wall, and either just leave their junk on the wall or throw it behind the wall.
One thing I wanted to mention, that last picture is how the posts were with 2 posts instead of 1. So that was one of the other things that we were questioning with the change that we had to come to heart. Because it had 2 posts side by side, but then changing it to a 6x6.
Each location or only
Yes, that was
corner?
all the,
Every
every column.
column?
Yeah,
Okay, that's-
he thought
On
just
the column.
one
Oh, okay.
one thick solid one would look better.
So that's why the masonry piers are so wide.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Was this just water damage or termites or? Jim, could you tell if it was termites or water damage?
It wasn't termites, it was water damage, where it's coming from, I don't know. I really don't. I got up, and the only thing I really did was look at the box cutter from end to end. And the box cutter is solid, I mean, it's all metal inside, has silver coating on it, and I looked at every square inch of that. And so I'm saying I don't think it's the box cutter that was leaking, I don't know. And it's not that roof because, there's nothing underneath the roof. There's no soffit, nothing like that. So the tongue groove boards are exposed. You would see the water dripping down if it was coming from the flashing against the house or something. And that, I got up the roof, it was fine. I don't know. I mean, it could have been something in the one by that something split or something and worked its way. I'm just speculating. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I couldn't tell at this point what it was. I probably really won't, I mean, if there was something, I would have had to have like got a lot more floor off. I really didn't go crazy tearing anything like that. I wanted to get it supported. And that's what I'm stopping. So I don't know how to answer that right now anyway.
I think for clarification, for you, Mr. Minnick, is moving forward, as of the beginning of this year, working without a permit is a $500 fine.
Well, I got the letter in the mail said something had to be done by the 23rd. I didn't know I had to have
Okay,
a
so,
permit for tearing down the wall.
okay,
So,
so that's when you pick up the phone and you contact somebody here at the borough.
Yeah.
We don't want to issue those. I'm just telling you as for future reference.
Okay.
You cannot do any kind of work like this without a permit.
Yeah.
And it makes it 10 times as bad when you're in the Harb District.
Okay.
So, and
like I
that,
s-
and that goes for you to, you know, if you do any more work in Columbia and it requires a permit, you know, it doesn't cost you anything to pick up the phone and inquire before you do something,
Yeah.
you know,
No.
to avoid.
Well, like I said, I got the letter and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Plus, with taking my wife to therapies and
Yeah,
everything.
I understand.
You know,
I just want to make
crazy.
sure that you're aware that
Yeah.
they're clamping down on it.
So the
Okay,
letter
thank
you
you.
received, what did it say?
It just said that the work had to be fixed by the 23rd, or it had to be done by the 23rd.
Was this from the stop work order?
It was a
No.
notice of violation for the condition of the porch as well as the condition of the wall, because it was deteriorating and there were pieces of the wall and rock falling out. So he had a notice of violation that was issued. And
Okay.
then when I was out driving around checking up on notice violations, when I noticed the wall was gone and the work on the porch had begun.
Ah, so does the letter, the initial letter, the first one, does it say anywhere on there? Contact the borough,
It does
Get a
not,
permit,
because
anything?
if he was just gonna do maintenance on it and reseal it, he wouldn't have needed the permit. It was just saying to take care of the conditions of the porch and the wall.
Peter?
Well, I'm struggling a little bit with the width of the masonry piers in the single column above. I don't know if there's anything you can do cladding wise to give a little more width to the singular column. Just to box it
Because
out.
You're talking about how the columns are like rectangle, more or less like this.
Right, yeah.
I can do that.
The masonry bases
It's
are
not a
rectangular.
problem.
Yeah,
The reason why I thought about it being like 10 squares is how we always set our porches.
yeah.
But it's gonna look dumb. I could beef up the base around it too at the top. But the base around the bottom, I mean, I could bring out 5/4 board or something like that, which would beef it up a little bit more, make it look wider at the bottom.
That would be my
if it's
suggestion.
Something that you wanted wider, I can do that.
Personally, but again, I mean, looking at what I can see of the adjoining neighboring house,
She has real small round posts on her porch.
right, and yeah, that does to me look like something that would have been more original. So I can't say that I necessarily
Yeah,
think it's
would
too
guess.
important to dig in on matching what was there. That's just a personal recommendation that given the width of the masonry piers that the proportions of a singular column
I can make it
might
wider.
look a little awkward, whether what was there was original or not.
I think the neighbor's porch looks much.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so again, apparently from we're seeing here, I think the work was necessary. It needs to be done.
Yeah.
Personally, I think the peaked arch profile of the spans, again, probably was not original, but might be an interesting detail. But if your preference is to straighten that out, I don't know that I have any
See, that was
concrete.
that was look, if you look up and down the block, everybody's is just like squared
Right,
off the top.
right.
That's why
Yeah,
Because see how that one is up there? It's just all squared off,
mhm,
the house up there.
yeah.
That's how.
Okay, and the sketch here isn't, I can't tell, there aren't too many dimensions, but I would suggest as long as there's an effort to match the general proportions and scale of cross-section and profile,
Okay.
where it's straightened out at the header and
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
as far, and the
Oh, it'll look good.
base of the columns, and whatever trim you're using around there, I don't know what height you had in mind.
Can I see that?
There's 1x10s or
yeah.
something you had in mind there?
Yeah, it would, it's going to be more than 8 inches, yeah.
And a smaller capital up top.
Yeah, that's why I said,
Yeah.
as far as the base, I
Mhm.
would probably use it a 5/4 board for that, because it's not 1x, it has a little more meat to it, so it stands out more.
Okay.
And I can do that top and bottom, which would look cool.
Mm-hmm. So giving the context of the physical conditions and what appears to be not an original porch, I would make a motion to approve the work to proceed as illustrated.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. And can you please outline the COA for 149 North Third Street?
149 is looking to update the existing sign from a 710 smoke shop sign to a 710 convenience with halo lighting in the background.
Guys want to come to the podium?
Hello.
So, are, right now, on the building,
It's a box.
it's a rectangle box, and you're gonna go away from the box and just go with
Yes,
lettering?
with the lettering. Actually, we're going downsizing the letters. Right now it's 36 by 12 feet long. So we're
Yeah.
making only 24 by 10 foot letters, single letters.
Are you moving away from the smoke shop model and moving towards the convenience store model, or just name change?
Use the name. Yeah, because the tobacco shop, my customers say it's not picking up. It's not growing. The people think it's only tobacco shop.
Okay.
And they don't go for groceries. They don't go for convenience. It's a convenience store. So actually,
I think you're doing a good job here. I like the new sign.
Yeah,
think
I like
makes
it
a lot
better.
Better than the other sign.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's gonna be much better. It's a good update for them.
Yeah.
For the town.
Aside from that,
Yes.
I'm fairly certain the building itself is not contributing
It's not-
historically, so I don't know if we have much to be
Something
concerned
to keep
about.
in mind, and I thought about this, we don't just talk, I know the building, I mean, I remember it was Lacey's Exxon, whatever it was, Exxon. But it's important to remember, at least in my opinion, that, when we look at design guidelines, we have to look how it changes upon the general historic or architectural nature of the district, not just that building. And I think that is an improvement compared to what
Right.
was there.
Just one note, he changed to green. It's not gonna be blue. We have the three options there, and he just chose green. So I don't know if colors mean something to you.
I think it'll be an improvement.
This one looks very nice. Even channel letters is something very good. And it's a low voltage, it's LED, It's not gonna be the 110 DC, 12 DC LED lighting.
Any other comments, questions?
Nothing for me.
I'll entertain a motion to recommend approval by Borough Council of the project as proposed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Does the borough have any discussion on the administrative rules? Anything we need to know about with them? No public comment. Is there any other business before the board? Next meeting of the Borough of the Hard Board for the Borough of Columbia is scheduled for August 13th, 2025. Without any other business before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Peter moves.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.